And I think that's where we as people struggle, is what you just said. That's where sometimes we struggle, because it's allowing your body to fully relax so that you can be in flow can send people into a spiral or a panic. And then I feel that's when those buffers or triggers or path of least resistance, or what was the other word we said, distractions come in. And I think that's where people can sometimes get tripped up. And like, I don't know, that I think that's where I got tripped up anyway. Anytime because I would meditate all the time as a child, but I didn't know I was meditating. And then I would time travel or go to different realms, and I would have these amazing meditations and be anywhere in the world all the time. But then when I tried to like do that in the body and release and relax in my body, I would be like panic. And then I would turn to, say, chocolate or eating. Eating was my buffer. I would eat chips and chocolate, like all the sweets. That was my distraction to not feeling bliss, because that's what would have happened if I released everything and relaxed, and but because of the human experience and trauma, I was unable.
Because you hadn't processed something completely. You experienced something that traumatized you, in a sense that you didn't allow yourself to see the truth of it. And when you don't see the truth of it, you don't process it properly, and it stays in your consciousness as a frequency and just vibrates there and attracts more and more negativity. And
it's the unknown, it's the darkness. That's my version of it. You gave an example of your version of it earlier, and you also said we all have different versions. And I think that's just kind of cool, because that came up for me. Like, that was my darkness, that was my negativity. So I don't know, that just kind of popped in there. I just think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, everyone experiences trauma to some degree. The way we define trauma is like, I don't know the actual definition, but the way it's like colloquially defined in society is just like the extremes, like the most, like, child abuse or sexual abuse or complete neglect or things like that. But trauma, to me, and like I said, I'm not exactly sure the absolute definition, but the way I understand it is that anything that changes your thinking permanently, and nothing is truly permanent. You might end up stop thinking that way 20 years down the road. But if it has a drastic change in your consciousness in one way, like you might experience something that was so minuscule and nobody even noticed that you were traumatized, but a thought occurred to you and nobody could have even seen it, but it changed the way you thought about everything forever. And then your whole life is changed around that.
Because of that one trigger.
So even if you lived what most people consider a beautiful life, like you're affluent, you had wonderful, loving parents, you had a lot of friends, you might have felt one experience where you felt alienated or felt like you were all alone, because even though you had everything, you still never felt happy. And then so you were wondering why. And then you thought to yourself, well, the reason why I don't feel happy is it must be that I'm bad. It must be that there's something wrong with me, because I have everything and yet I don't feel good. So there must be something wrong with me. And then that very belief traumatizes you. And then you go on throughout the rest of your life thinking and believing wholeheartedly that there's something lacking in you. And that causes you to create that reality. Then you will lack in every other aspect. So even though it may not have been anything to anyone else, you might have just had a thought in your head that could traumatize you. It doesn't have to be the extreme. It doesn't have to be physical or sexual abuse or neglect.
Real.
Exactly. It could be, well, that's the thing. Is
it
like,
could have been made up.
You just don't fully understand what's going on.
Anyway, that just came in. That's